www.ccradio.org.
This is a Camden Community Radio program for Refugee Week Radio. Different pasts, shared future. My name is Jason Mansaray. Quite often when we think of refugees and asylum seekers, we overlook lesbian and gay people who have suffered violence and or sexual abuse in their home countries. I met a young man from Sri Lanka who discussed his incredible journey that eventually led him to the United Kingdom.
My name is Hari Shivananda Sharma and I come from Sri Lanka and I'm 22 years old. Yes, there was this soldier guy. I don't know how to describe it. I would say an intimate sexual affair now, looking back at it. But it wasn't just that. It was more of a friendship, I would say, but it had a sexual element in it.
And how old were you?
I was 12.
How old was he?
I would say roughly about 20 to 25.
So does that mean that at that age, you knew that you were gay?
I don't know, because that was my first sexual experiences, and in Sri Lanka we don't get taught about sex until we are 15. So I didn't know anything really about the sex part of it, but I thought it's something people do or something. I don't know what it felt, but I didn't like the sexual part of it. I disliked it, but I decided his company mostly because I was lonely and I didn't have a father maybe.
When did you and other people start to identify you that you might be gay?
Well, I was aware of it when I hit the age of 13 in Jaffna, because in Jaffna you had access to magazines from Tamil Nadu and magazines from all over the place really. Even we had a Reader's Digest and all these things, and I kind of started reading and then became aware of, I started reading novels and stuff, so I kind of knew what went on there. So and I didn't know the term for it. Because I didn't know the term gay until I was 16 or 17, but I kind of know, okay, yes, I am attracted to men. We faced bullying, but I had my own coping mechanisms, like staying too close to the teachers and pretending to read a book while the bullying goes on, or stay on the front bench instead of the back bench, or that sort of mechanism. And I became a teacher's pet really, to escape the thing. And I don't, during intervals or playtimes, I don't go to the playground. I just go to the library. So that's a secure environment for me.
Did you find another outlet for, your stresses, that you were encountering?
Well, the first thing I did was writing the diary and sending it to a publisher in India, and then commit suicide. That's what I was going to do, because it was an act of revenge. And that's what a poet did in early 90s in Sri Lanka. She just burnt herself to death after sending her poems to a friend. So I took that as an inspiration, and then I thought, okay, this is the only way to tarnish the whole society. but then I got saved.
How did you get saved?
Well, my mother found out my letters and she rushed to emergency care, and I was put up in emergency care, and then they referred me to a psychiatrist help, and I got a social worker allocated for me, and then they advised me to change the school from Kokil Hindu College, which is the Hindu college, to non-religious school, which is Jaffna Central College, to do my A-levels. And that's where I had this access to public library, because the school was very near to the public library. The public library had internet access. Mm-hmm. Now I got a computer because I got good results in O-level. So what I would do in the night time is writing stuff up at the house. And when I go to school, I will keep it in a floppy disk. And then after the school, I would rush to the library and try to post it on a blogspot. I had a Blogger account. And then designing was nearly impossible. So I didn't really have any time to format the text. It was just bland text, unformatted text. But I sent it out to some people in the diaspora community, well-known writers and, well-known individuals in the diaspora. I sent the address to them via email, and then they got back to me saying, this is really, really important stuff, and it's really important that you're writing from the zone itself. And it was very supportive, and this way I can I can't deal with the revenge thing. Yeah, then I thought, okay, this is time to publish really rebellious stuff. So I thought I fictionalized my encounter with a soldier guy. It was highly descriptive and homoerotic, deliberately beyond the limits of conventions, I suppose. And I published it online. And
So kind of a double life.
yeah, double life, because on the online I had this identity, and in secret I was scared to death because it was a tough time, and I had this revenge to write bad things about everyone, like my teacher or the family or the religion, everything. I had this ridiculous urge to tarnish the values, I would say. But I couldn't do it in public, so I kept the diaries in secret. I started writing it, and then and I also was reading the novels and literary publications. So then when I hit 16, I kind of realized the literary value of it. So I started writing specifically about the schools I attended, and it was very confessional, based on very true events and true names.
Yep.
So people, I think somebody might have Googled their school name. I don't know how did get into the notice of the people who are affiliated with my school or the Tamil Tigers. I don't know how it got their attention, but anyhow, it was the Tamil Tigers. Not the Tamil Tigers, because the Tamil Tigers are a very diverse organization. They have affiliations with schools because they target schools as their main line of activity, because they didn't have any control over the Jaffna area. They had their base was in Vani, but they kept in contact with schools in order to carry out activities like carrying out attacks on sentry points or distributing grenades, hand pistols and stuff. And they were very, very culturally orthodox. They tried to protect Tamil cultural values in order to stand up to the Sinhala oppression. So they thought cultural values are very important, and society has to stay orthodox in order to preserve the Tamil cultural identity. So any act of this sexually explicit material would be considered as dangerous.
They found out,
and I received, it's like a three-tier warning. They basically, if they find any dissident, they usually offer a first warning, which is kind and polite, please stop the activity. And the second one is very dangerous. It involves threatening you with an arm, a weapon.
And what did you experience? 1 and 2?
First, they asked me politely to remove all the blog posts and kindly apologize to them, and admit in public that I always imagined, rather than it's my fault, and they tried to come up with a public apology from my side. But I refused it because I thought it's from the classmate of mine. I ignored it, and I thought, okay, I will stay silent, but I wouldn't delete any. Mm-hmm. But then they visited me. We kind of knew they are coming to our house. They are from the motorcycles, because the motorcycles are really loud. The motorcycles they use it's deliberate.
You hear this sound coming. It was like a warning.
Yes. So we kind of thought, okay, somebody in the neighborhood is in trouble, but it was us. So my mother didn't open the door. We were in the backyard pretending that nobody is at home, and we switched off all the, any sound of the radios all off, and we didn't make a sound. But they were knocking. But then they came to the backyard to look for us. So eventually they were threatening to, okay, nangal veeta udakka poram velila variya illa, this is okay. They were ready to break the house even to come into it, and they were using foul language as well. So my mother told me to wait in the room, and she locked the room, and she went out to meet them, saying that no, he's not here, he is staying at his cousin sister's house because he is studying for the exams. And they didn't believe her. They wanted to check all the house. There were 3 men. Then they found out the room was locked, and they asked her to open it. So that's how they found out. And
so what happened when they saw you?
Well, they had guns, and you know how they threaten you, and basically with a gun. And
so what, did they put it against your head, or did they just hold it up to you?
No, put it against my head, and yes, it was pretty humiliating. And my mother intervened, and they, she fell on the floor and grabbed their legs and begging and crying, sobbing. It was. And she promised them that she will make sure that I stay silent and I issue a public apology online and delete the blog spot and stuff. But then I didn't go to school. We basically got our social worker from the hospital to explain all the things to my school. After I said for my A-levels, the first thing my mother did was, during the time, the travel from Jaffna to Colombo was prohibited. We had to get security clearance to go into the capital city, and it was very hard to obtain a security clearance. So we had to pay 2 lakhs. 2 lakhs, which is 2 lakhs is
bribe or
bribe.
license? Yeah.
Bribe. We had to pay lots of money to get the security clearance from the army, but we had to go through a political party which is affiliated as a paramilitary group. So yeah, we paid lots of money and got the clearance, and went to live in Colombo. It was a newfound freedom for me, because if you go outside the Tamil community, you find all these nearly LGBT lobbying groups, and they host pride festivals, and I attended one, and I got back home in a ridiculous costume, and it was the starter of all problems, because they didn't like it. Our neighbors didn't like it. It was very uncomfortable for us, and they scribbled some derogatory term on the wall and
of your apartment.
Of our apartment. And it wasn't.
What did it say?
Okay, so basically they wrote this foul scribbling on my wall. It's saying in Tamil, it's a cocksucker lives here. So my mother had problems with it, because she is a very cultured woman. She she likes to interact with the neighbors, but her son being like this wouldn't really help her to interact with the new neighbors and stuff. And obviously it says that somebody in our neighborhood knew specifically who I am and what I am up to. So she thought, okay, let's move to some other place, where nobody cares. Actually, we were looking for our suburbs in Colombo, but that again is a problem because we are Tamils and we are from Jaffna. In our identity card it says we are Tamil, so it was hard for us to relocate anywhere in Colombo other than the Tamil area. But we found a neutral Muslim Sinhala area it's called Colombo 15, and we moved to that area. And I was approached by the New York Times because they became familiar with my online writings, and they wanted to do an interview about a recent Tamil immigrant from Jaffna, how he feels in Colombo as a Tamil. They wanted to get to know into the experiences, really. So they approached me, and I said, okay, I will do the interview, and it got published, and it got into the attention of a Tamil minister who is affiliated with the government. So it's kind of against the government and its policies and its practices against Tamil. So they visited us once. They kindly asked me to not to do this again. But
so they didn't hold guns up to you this time?
Not this time, but then again I started an English blog after that, and I started writing about these things about Sinhala community, Tamil community, blah blah blah, and they didn't really like it. So again I got into trouble.
You got a second visit?
A second visit, but not with guns, but with threatening behavior. It was frightening enough because we were living in Jaffna and we didn't really have any support network. In Jaffna, when it happened, we had a really.
So what happened to you then?
Well, even this time, my mother intervened and said, "Oh, he is my only son. Please, he's the one all I have for my entire life." I was unaware of this serious situation because I was only 19, and even though I was facing persecution, I had support networks from the LGBT group and that sort of support networks. But I didn't realize that I am in danger because I was oblivious to these things. But my mother made an arrangement to go to come to United Kingdom. She contacted my cousin who lives here, and she borrowed money to get me a student visa, and then that's how I got here. When I came to London, I went to live with my cousin's sister. It was shocking for me because I wasn't expecting this at all. I thought they will be integrated into United Kingdom. They will be as liberals, okay with my attitude and stuff. But they were more orthodox than anyone I have ever seen in Sri Lanka. Really, they were more orthodox, and she ordered me. Really, that's how it was. She ordered me to cut my hair down, and cut it down and behave in a more of an acceptable way, like any man of my age does. And she wanted me to
to have the same restrictions and lack of freedom in a free country that you had.
Yeah.
So what happened then? I mean, did you continue to live with her or no?
I lived there for 2 months because normally I didn't have any options to go.
Harry ended up being homeless for 3 months and relied heavily on the support of his university friends. Eventually, though, with their help, he was granted asylum. However, it was a struggle to get status based on sexuality alone.